Did you know that the vast majority of people navigate through life without a defined port, becoming, often without realizing, mere instruments in the plans of those who know where they want to arrive? As Earl Nightingale well pointed out, the person who does not define their own goals ends up, invariably, working to achieve the goals of others. But before we dive deep into this powerful idea, do not forget to click on the like button and subscribe to the channel to help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. It's quick and makes a huge difference for us. Having a clear goal, my friends, transcends the mere achievement of material objectives or the accumulation of external trophies. It is a deep dive into the essence of being, an act of sculpting one's own identity in the clay of existence. Imagine yourself as a ship in the open sea. Without a traced destination, you are at the mercy of the waves, of the currents, of the erratic winds. You can even move, feel the sway of the ocean. But where are you really going to? The metaphor of the ship gains even clearer outlines when we think about human psychology. Carl Jung, the renowned psychiatrist, told us about the process of individuation, the journey of becoming who we really are, distinct from the mass, conscious of our unique talents and purposes. Having clear goals is like hoisting the sails of your individuation. It is giving a north to this internal journey, allowing you to navigate with intention and meaning. Without this internal compass, we run the risk of living lives echoing the desires of others, absorbing like sponges the social, family, professional expectations and getting lost in a labyrinth of shoulds that do not resonate with our deepest truth. Existentialist philosophy, with names like Sartre and Camus, echoes this urgency of self-definition. For these thinkers, existence precedes essence. That is, we are born first, and through our choices and actions, we build who we are. There is no predefined manual, a ready script. Life is a blank stage, and we are the screenwriters, the directors, and the main actors. Defining goals is, therefore, an act of radical freedom, a cry of autonomy in a world that often tries to mold us into prefabricated forms. Think about neuroscience, about the intricate neural networks that mold and transform themselves with each experience. When you define a goal, you are literally directing the energy of your brain, strengthening the synapses related to that objective, creating a circuit of focus and determination. It is like programming an internal GPS that guides you through the noise and distractions, keeping you on the right path. The absence of goals, on the other hand, can lead to mental dispersion, to chronic procrastination, to that feeling of always being busy, but never productive, never really advancing towards something that matters to you. Contemporary society, with its avalanche of stimuli, its social networks projecting idealized and unreal lives, the incessant pressure to consume and perform, acts as a true labyrinth for the soul. We are bombarded by subliminal messages that tell us what we should want, how we should be, what standards we should follow. And in this informational whirlwind, the voice of our own intuition, of our authentic desires, becomes increasingly difficult to hear. It is like trying to find a soft melody in the middle of a dissonant orchestra. The culture of immediatism, of instant gratification, also distances us from the construction of long-term goals. We want quick results, magic solutions, and we lose the patience and perseverance necessary to cultivate projects that really demand time and effort. We forget that Chinese bamboo, for example, takes years to sprout from the earth but then grows meters in a matter of weeks. So are many of our most valuable goals. They require a period of gestation, of care, of constant investment before they flourish in all their fullness. This disconnection with our personal purposes generates a deep malaise, a feeling of existential emptiness that manifests in various forms: anxiety, irritability, lack of motivation, even physical symptoms such as insomnia and headaches. It is the body and mind screaming for alignment, for congruence between what we do and who we really are. Imagine a river trying to run against the current. There is an enormous expenditure of energy, a constant wear and tear, and the progress is minimal, suffered. So is life without clear goals, a constant struggle against the tide, a Herculean effort to simply stay afloat, while the current, the goals of others, drag you away from your own course. But it is precisely at this point of discomfort, in this clash between the life we are living and the life we feel we could live, that the potential for a great transformation resides. It is like an internal earthquake, breaking the old structures, opening cracks through which the light can enter. Recognizing this dissatisfaction, this feeling that something is missing, is the first step to awaken the search for self-knowledge. It is like a call from the soul, an insistent whisper that invites us to look inward, to question our values, our desires, our unexplored talents. It is the moment to silence the external noise, to turn off notifications, to disconnect from the virtual world and reconnect with your inner voice. Meditation, introspection, therapeutic writing, honest conversation with oneself or with trusted people are powerful tools in this process of rediscovery. It is like unearthing a lost treasure, removing the layers of dust and illusions that covered your essence. And in this process of self-investigation, you inevitably come across a crossroads. Two paths open up in front of you. The first, the easiest, the most comfortable, is that of inertia, of conformity, of continuing to follow the flow, being carried by the waves, letting others dictate the rhythm and direction of your journey. It is the path of least resistance, but also the path of silent frustration, of late regret, of that bitter feeling of having lived a half-assed life, of not having expressed your full potential. The second path, the most challenging, the one that requires courage and determination, is that of authorship, of responsibility, of taking the reins of your life, of tracing your own map, of defining your goals, however small and simpler they may seem at the beginning. It is the path of authenticity, of congruence, of profound realization. It is the path that invites you to leave the audience and step onto the stage of your own existence. Defining goals, my friends, does not mean tracing a rigid and inflexible plan set in unrealistic rules and deadlines. It is not about becoming workaholic, obsessed with productivity and results. On the contrary, authentic goals are those that resonate with your deepest values, that connect you with your passion, that inspire you to be your best version, without comparisons, without excessive demands, only with the joy of being on the right path, on your path. Start small. Take the first step. Maybe it is defining a goal for today, something simple, but that propels you in the desired direction. Reading a few pages of an inspiring book, taking a walk in nature, dedicating a few minutes to meditation, starting that project that you have been postponing for a long time. Each small conscious action, aligned with your purpose, is like a brick in the construction of your personal cathedral. And as you advance, as you experience the first results, as you feel the energy focus, the motivation increase, the resilience strengthen, life gains a new color, a new flavor. You become more present, more engaged, more alive. The feeling of emptiness dissipates, giving way to a feeling of fullness, of contentment, that you are in control of your destiny, that you are the captain of your own ship, navigating towards the port you chose with courage, with purpose, with joy. Realization is not only in the arrival, at the end point of the journey, but in every step of the way, in every challenge overcome, in every learning achieved. It is the beauty of becoming who you were really born to be, of living a life with meaning, with authenticity, with passion. So I ask you, with all the sincerity of my heart, What is the first step you are going to take today to get out of autopilot and start drawing your own map? What is the goal, however small it may be, that you are going to define now to start building the life you really want to live? Do not wait any longer. The moment is now. Life is a precious and fleeting gift, too much to be wasted following the plans of other people. Take the reins of your journey, define your course, and navigate with courage and purpose towards your most authentic dreams. If this message touched you in some way, if it made any sense in your heart, I invite you to leave your like, to share your opinion in the comments, and to subscribe to the channel to continue together on this journey of self-discovery and transformation. Expanding the metaphor of the ship, we can think about different types of vessels and what they represent in our personal journey. A small rowboat, for example, symbolizes perhaps the beginning of the journey, when we still feel fragile and dependent on our own strength to move forward. Each stroke, each conscious effort to move the boat forward, represents the small goals we set at the beginning, the initial steps that take us out of inertia and put us in motion. A sailboat, with its imposing sails capturing the wind, can represent a more advanced moment of the journey, when we have already hoisted the sails of our individuation, as Jung would say, and allow the greater forces, our talents and passions, to propel us. The wind, in this case, can be interpreted as the synchronicity of life, the opportunities that arise when we are aligned with our purpose, when we have a clear direction and are open to receiving the impulse of the universe. And even an ocean liner, robust and imposing, navigating in deep waters, still needs a rudder, a captain who defines the course, who traces the route on the map. Without this direction, even the largest and most powerful vessel becomes just a giant adrift, vulnerable to the storms and icebergs of life. The journey towards individuation, this search to become complete and authentic beings, is not a crossing in calm and sunny waters. There will be storms, giant waves, moments of darkness and uncertainty. But having clear goals is like having a lighthouse on the horizon, a point of reference that guides us through the fog, that gives us hope and direction even when everything seems dark and chaotic. And Jung taught us that this journey is essentially internal, an exploration of our own unconscious, of our shadows, and of our light. External goals, material achievements, are just reflections of this inner journey, tangible manifestations of our growth and our evolution. Existentialist philosophy, with Sartre and Camus, reminds us that we are radically free beings, condemned to freedom, as Sartre would say. This freedom can be paralyzing, distressing, if we do not use it to create our own meaning, to define our own values and goals. If we do not become the authors of our own existence, we run the risk of becoming secondary characters in the script of other people, living lives that do not belong to us, playing roles that we did not choose. It is as if we were in a large theater with countless plays being staged simultaneously, and we have the freedom to choose on which stage we want to act, which character we want to play. But if we do not make this choice consciously, if we simply let ourselves be carried away by chance, by social conventions, by family expectations, we can end up finding ourselves on a stage that does not resonate with our soul, playing a role that suffocates us and prevents us from expressing our true essence. Neuroscience offers us a fascinating perspective on how goals shape our brain. Neuroplasticity, this incredible capacity of the brain to remodel and adapt throughout life, is greatly influenced by our intentions and focuses. When we define a goal, be it learning a new skill, improving our health, building a meaningful relationship, or achieving a professional objective, our brain begins to reorganize itself, to create new neural connections, to strengthen the circuits related to that goal. It is as if we were building new roads on our brain map, paths that lead us towards our objective. And the more we walk these paths, the more we focus on our goal, the stronger and more efficient they become. On the other hand, The lack of goals, mental dispersion, procrastination can lead to a weakening of these neural connections, to a less focused brain, less resilient, more prone to distraction and impulsivity. It is as if the roads on our brain map became dirt roads, increasingly difficult to travel, increasingly prone to deviating us from the course. Contemporary society, with its complexity and its multiple stimuli, can be compared to a digital labyrinth, a tangle of information, notifications, distractions that constantly bombard us, competing for our attention, distancing us from our center, from our inner voice. Social networks in particular, with their idealized and unreal lives, can create a sense of comparison and inadequacy, making us feel that we are always lacking, that we are never good enough, that we always need more to be happy and fulfilled. This incessant pressure to consume, to perform, to fit into predefined patterns can divert us from our authentic goals, make us pursue objectives that are not really ours, that do not resonate with our deepest values and desires. It is as if we were running in a hamster wheel, spinning incessantly, but without leaving the place, without really advancing towards something that truly matters to us. The culture of immediatism, this frantic search for instant gratification, for quick and easy results, prevents us from cultivating patience, perseverance, discipline, essential qualities for the construction of long-term goals, for the realization of projects that really demand time and effort. We forget the wisdom of Chinese bamboo, which teaches us that true growth, authentic flourishing, often requires a period of gestation, of waiting, of constant care, of silent investment, before manifesting in all its fullness. Just like bamboo, many of our most valuable goals need time to take root, to strengthen themselves, to prepare for the explosive growth that will come. The disconnection with our personal purposes, with our authentic goals, generates an existential emptiness that manifests in various forms. And it is fundamental to understand that defining authentic goals, goals that truly resonate with your soul, does not mean tracing a rigid and inflexible plan set in unrealistic rules and deadlines that imprisons you and prevents you from enjoying the journey. It is not about becoming a workaholic obsessed with productivity and results, sacrificing your well-being, your relationships, your physical and mental health. On the contrary, authentic goals are those that emanate from your deepest values, that connect you with your passion, that inspire you to be your best version, not by comparison with others, but for love of yourself, for desire for growth and evolution. They are goals that motivate you, that energize you, that give you a sense of direction and purpose, but that also allow you flexibility, adaptability, lightness. Start small. Take the first step today. Do not worry about having all the answers, about having the perfect plan, about knowing exactly how to get there. The journey reveals itself with each step, with each small conscious action, with each goal achieved. Maybe your goal for today is simply to define a small goal for tomorrow, something simple, but that propels you in the desired direction. Reading a few pages of an inspiring book that you have been postponing, taking a walk in nature to reconnect with your essence, dedicating a few minutes to meditation to silence the mind and hear your inner voice, starting that creative project that you have been procrastinating for a long time out of fear or insecurity. Each small conscious action aligned with your purpose is like a brick in the construction of your personal cathedral, of your existential masterpiece. And as you advance, as you experience the first results, as you feel the energy focus, the motivation increase, the resilience strengthen, life gains a new color, a new vibration, a new flavor. You become more present, more engaged, more alive, more connected with yourself and with the world around you. The feeling of emptiness gradually dissipates, giving way to a feeling of fullness, of contentment, of gratitude that you are in control of your destiny, that you are the captain of your own ship, navigating with courage, with purpose, with joy. towards the port you chose, to the future you want to build. And remember, true realization does not reside only in the arrival, at the end point of the journey, in the achievement of the final goal, but rather in every step of the way, in every challenge overcome, in every learning achieved, in every small victory celebrated. It is the beauty of becoming who you were really born to be, of living a life with meaning, with authenticity, with passion, of expressing your maximum potential, of leaving your unique and singular mark on the world. So, stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and reflect with sincerity. What is the first step you are going to take today to get out of autopilot, to break with inertia, to start drawing your own map, to define your authentic goals? What is the goal, however small it may be, that you are going to define now, at this exact moment, to start building the life you really want to live, the life that your soul longs to experience? Do not wait another day even. The moment to act is now. Life is a precious gift, a fleeting breath, a unique and unrepeatable opportunity that cannot, must not, be wasted following the plans, the dreams, the goals of other people. Take the reins of your journey, take the helm of your ship, define your course with clarity and conviction, and navigate with courage, with purpose, with joy, towards your most authentic, deepest, truest dreams. And if this message resonated in you, if it touched your heart in some way, if it made any sense in your journey, I invite you to leave your like so that this message can reach more people, to share your opinion, your experience, your insights in the comments to enrich this conversation, and together build a community of people seeking to live more authentic and meaningful lives, and to subscribe to the channel to continue together on this fascinating journey of self-discovery, personal growth, and continuous transformation. Anxiety arises as a warning sign, a scream from our nervous system indicating that we are misaligned, that we are living incongruently with our inner truth. Irritability, impatience, difficulty concentrating, lack of motivation are other symptoms of this deep malaise, of this feeling that something is missing, that life has lost its meaning and flavor. And the body, wise and expressive, also manifests this imbalance through physical symptoms such as insomnia, headaches, digestive problems, muscle tension, chronic fatigue. It is the body and mind in unison, clamoring for alignment, for congruence, for a life with purpose, with meaning, with direction. The metaphor of the river that tries to run against the current perfectly illustrates the wear and tear and frustration of living without clear goals. Imagine the colossal force of a river, its potential energy to generate life, to irrigate the land, to create lush landscapes. But if this river is diverted from its natural course, if it is forced to run against the current, all this energy becomes destructive, generating erosion, wear and tear, suffering. So is life without clear goals, without a defined purpose, a waste of vital energy, a constant struggle against oneself, against one's own nature, a Herculean effort to simply stay afloat, while the goals of others, social expectations, external pressures drag you away from your own path, from your own destiny. But it is important to remember that this point of discomfort, this clash between the life we are living and the life we yearn to live, is not a dead end, but rather a portal to transformation. It is like an internal earthquake that shakes the old structures, that breaks the limiting patterns, that opens cracks through which the light of consciousness can finally penetrate. Recognizing this dissatisfaction, this feeling of emptiness, this existential anguish, is not a sign of weakness, but rather of courage, of honesty with oneself. It is the first fundamental step to awaken the search for self-knowledge, to begin the journey of rediscovering your essence, your talents, your most authentic purposes. It is like a call from the soul, an insistent whisper that rises above the noise of the world. that invites you to look inward, to question the truths you have always accepted, to challenge the limiting beliefs that imprison you, to explore your deepest desires, your most daring dreams, and to hear this inner voice, to silence the external noise. It is necessary to create spaces of quiet, moments of introspection, pauses for reflection, turning off cell phone notifications, disconnecting from social networks, moving away from the whirlwind of daily life is essential to reconnect with your own internal compass, with your intuition, with your innate wisdom. Meditation, the practice of mindfulness, therapeutic writing, journaling, honest conversation with oneself or with trusted people who support and inspire you, are powerful tools in this process of self-discovery, in this deep dive into the ocean of your own consciousness. It is like unearthing a lost treasure, removing the layers of dust and illusions that covered your essence, revealing the unique and singular brilliance that resides in you, that is just waiting to be recognized and expressed in all its fullness. And in this process of self-investigation, of exploration of your inner world, you inevitably come across a crossroads with a crucial decision point. Two paths open up in front of you, each with its own promises and challenges. The first path, the easiest, the most comfortable, the one that requires less effort and courage, is that of inertia, of conformity, of continuing to follow the flow, being carried by the waves of life, letting others continue dictating the rhythm and direction of your journey. It is the path of least resistance, the path of the comfort zone, but also the path of silent frustration, of late regret, of that bitter feeling of having lived a half-assed life, of not having expressed your full potential, of having let your dreams die suffocated by routine and conformity. The second path, the most challenging, the one that requires courage, audacity, determination, is that of authorship, of responsibility, of taking the reins of your life, of taking control of your destiny, of tracing your own map, of defining your goals, however small and simpler they may seem at the beginning. It is the path of authenticity, of congruence, of profound realization, of life with purpose and meaning. It is the path that invites you to leave the audience of life and step onto the stage of your own existence, to become the protagonist of your story, the creator of your own script, the director of your own play.